Every time you even think about raising board or your horse business rates $50, you feel like you're kicking someone's pony. You open the draft message, I need to adjust pricing starting next month. And your stomach drops and the thoughts hit in a wave. I don't want to seem greedy. Horse people don't have money like that. I should just be grateful they pay at all. If I charge what I actually need, I'm the bad guy. That's horse business guilt. And if you don't understand what it is and why it shows up, it will quietly keep you under being overworking and one bad month away from being the barn that had to shut down or the horse business that couldn't keep operating suddenly. I want to talk about that guilt today, what it is, where it comes from, and why charging enough to actually live isn't selfish. It's responsible. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Curtis Andriotti, founder of the Horse Business Profit Club. After working with over 2,000 horses and many horse businesses over the last 9 years, I created a simple, stable profit system so horse people can finally feel financially safe without adding more horses or more hours. First, let's name what's really going on. You're not afraid of numbers, you're afraid of being seen differently by people you care about. You're in your head, the story goes old price equals kind and generous for the love of it. New price equals greedy, money hungry, sold out. And horse culture backs that up. It's more of a lifestyle than a business. No one gets into this to get rich. We do it for the love of the horse. So the second you try to act like a real business with real pricing that includes you, it feels like you're betraying the tribe. You're not crazy for feeling that. You were taught that good horse people sacrifice, bad horse people charge. No wonder every invoice feels like a moral exam. Here's the reframe. Undercharging isn't generosity, it's fragility. Let's play it out. Business A charges as little as possible so it feels fair. The numbers barely cover hay, shavings, vet, farrier, gas, insurance. The owner pays herself, whatever crumbs are left, if any. Repairs get pushed, footing gets good enough, and emergencies go on credit. She's exhausted, resentful, and one big vet bill or truck repair away from being done. From the outside, that looks noble. But the inside, it's a ticking time bomb for horses, the clients, and the family depending on her. Barn B, or horse business B, charges enough that feed, care, labor, facility, and owner pay are built into the math. There's margin for real repairs, upgrades, and an emergency fund. The owner can take a day off without the whole thing collapsing. Which barn is actually safer for horses long term? Which barn can be there for a decade and not just a season? The selfish one. Because a barn that starves the owner is a barn that will eventually fail the horses too. So why does guilt still feel so loud? Because when you raise prices, you're doing something brutally honest. You're finally letting the real cost of good care exist out in the open instead of holding it in your body. And that exposes two things. Some people genuinely can't or won't pay for what it really costs. You've been filling that gap with your life quietly for years. It's easier on your ego to tell yourself, I'm just bad with money. I'm just not business minded. I'm fine. It's harder to say, my prices have been lying. I've been the subsidy. That has to change. That's what the guilt flare really is, the pain of stepping out of the martyr role you've been rewarded for into the boring adult role of someone who insists their work and risk be respected. So what do you do with this? Without going into hundreds of tactical steps, one decision. Charging enough to live is part of taking good care of horses and people here. Not extra, not a nice to have, part of the job. Because when you sleep more than 4 hours, aren't drowning in secret debt, and have the margin to fix things before they're dangerous, you can pay decent staff and keep them. You can do better work. The horses are safer, the kids are safer, owners are calmer, and the whole barn is more stable. That's what our price supports. If you want a litmus test for your own guilt, try this. Imagine your favorite trainer or the person you respect most in the horse world living on your current numbers. Would you be okay with them working your hours, carrying your stress for what you pay yourself right now? If the answer is no, then it's not that you're being selfish by wanting more. It's that you've been asking less for yourself than you would ever accept anyone you care about. Guilt isn't always a sign you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's a sign you're finally doing something different. Charging enough to live for doesn't make you less for the horses. It's what lets you still be here with them years from now instead of telling stories about back when I used to have a barn before it all got too hard.